Alright guys, welcome back to part 2 of building an HO layout. Since the last time we shot this, I have finally finished the siding here, or branch, or whatever it could be at this point. I'm not sure yet. One thing to mention when you do finish this is to make sure to sand all of this along the bevels and everything else. That will help later when you're putting ballast down, which means that it won't be jutting out in weird ways. Trust me, I know this. Also, when you sand it flat like this, it keeps the track level and no bumps. So now we're gonna soon here get started on laying the track plan. Alright, first of all, laying the switches now. I'm using Atlas HO scale number 4 type switches. These are not your normal snap turnouts. These are a little bit wider. I think these are like 22 radius curve switches, something like that. And these are the most common type of switches. Atlas generally has a big line of switches, track and other things for that. And you can use any other turnout like Pecco makes some, Shinohara, and a few other companies. I don't remember off the top of my head. But for this demonstration we'll be using Atlas. This is code 83, which is generally the most accepted height. 83 means 83 thousandths of an inch height. The most common train set track is code 100, which is 1/100ths of an inch. So, alright, to get started, what we'll do is the placement of the switches is where you mark your turnout throws like I showed you last time. You start from there, and then next turnout, then you find your other position. And then, let me get this out of the package. So go down there and discard that. Alright. Just mixing it. Sometimes you do have to make adjustments. The plans always don't work out a lot of times. Model railroading is not the most perfect hobby in the world. Sometimes I wish it was, but it's not always so. Alright, that looks good there. Alright, first thing you want to do is get out whatever tools you want to use to cut the track. Sometimes you can use these. These are rail nippers. These are made by a company called Xuron. These are handy for clipping the rail. But for this demonstration, I will be using a Dremel cutoff wheel motor tool. It has 2 settings. It's got slow and fast. And that's what I will be using then to cut the rail. First thing you want to do on flex track is you want to remove the ties from the end, like this right here. These are the ties then that were removed. I cut them off with a knife, but you can use a zona saw. You can even use the Dremel wheel to cut them. And then what you want to do is you want to lay them over where you know your turnouts are going to be. One handy thing to make sure your turnouts do not move while you're trying to match up is to find the holes in the ties of the switches or other piece of track where you're starting from. It's always best to actually start from the turnouts because they are the most important part of the track and are the most finicky. Now from that spot you can eyeball and measure where you're going to cut your rail. And then you can either mark the rail or you can dead reckon it, which I'm going to have to do today. So, one thing to note is it is advisable to use safety glasses. A lot of times this stuff will fly. I mean, today I don't have any on me, so I'll have to do with that. So, all right. next thing I need to do is to remove the ties from this end. So just a gentle cut with the Dremel. Next thing you want to do then after that is to attach the rail joiners onto the piece of track. The nice thing about using the Dremel is if the rail is actually not matching up, you can grind it down. And when we have fair warning, it does get hot. Alright, pliers. Use them to get the joiner. You want them to get the joiners into the rail. Like so. And after that, and we'll attach the next turnout then to the switch that was already there, like so. And then, oh yeah, as you can see here, the rail has actually jumped over the joiner. You want to definitely watch for that. What happens, just pull it out, slip it in so that it's right in where it's supposed to be. And then what we're going to do is, now that we know that the pieces are correctly measured, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull these turnouts up and I'm going to lay the caulk down. Alright, first of all, to attach the track, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down latex caulk. So just run a bead all along the area then where you're going to have your track. What caulk will do is it will actually pull down the track, and then to spread it then, what I want to do is use just a piece of scrap something. You can use anything to apply it. So kind of thing to spread nice and even as you can. Alright. Just make sure the track is nicely pressed and firm in the caulk. Put the nails down, or I should say the Alright, and then what you do then is you take the push pins